number 51, and we are continuing our study of Luke chapter 15 and learning what God has to say, what God wants us to know about souls and what it means for a soul to be lost. So we are looking in verses 11 through 32, the parable of the lost son. And the takeaways that I want us to get from today's lesson: number one, sin takes me far away from God. So I take you back to verses 11 through 13, and notice, and we'd already read that a man had two sons. The younger said, "Father, give me the share of property coming to me." He divided his property. Now notice what happens next. Not many days later, the younger son gathered all he had and took a journey into a far country. When I began to focus on what I want in exclusion to what God wants, then I'm leaving God. Isaiah 59, 1 and 2. Remember, we quoted that the other day, that it is sin that separates between me and my God. And that's what's happening here. That young man wanted, and he gathered, and he went away. But I want you to notice what else happened there: that he took a journey into a far country, and there he squandered his property in reckless living. We talked about that briefly as our time ran out the other day, so I want to go back to it. He squandered. I want you to imagine trying to understand what that word, of course, we understand in the physical sense, he wasted all of his money. He wasted all of the valuable things that he had on foolish living. But when you understand the depth of that word, especially when you understand this parable is teaching a spiritual lesson. It's not talking about ending up broke because you were foolish. It's talking about something far more powerful, something far more horrible than that: being completely spiritually poor, destitute, and lost. I want you to think about a pillow, a feather pillow filled with so many feathers, and I want you to imagine going up, just riding up and down the road, having cut the end off of one end of that pillow, and you're just scattering those feathers everywhere, and they're just flying in all directions until the pillow is empty. That's what that word squandered means. He wasted all the blessings he had. He wasted all the good things and just in all directions until they were gone. And that word riotous living, when I look back at that verse, reckless living, understand that that particular Greek word carries with it the idea of immoral behavior, sinful behavior, immoral living. Sin takes me far away from God. But number two, I want you to take this from today's study: sin is a personal responsibility. It is a personal responsibility. Go back to verses 11 through 13. Notice what happened there. Not many days later, the younger son gathered all that he had. Remember, it was the younger son who said to his father, father gave him a choice, but he said, "Give me." He was thinking about himself. But he gathered all he had and took a journey to a far country, and there he squandered his property. Now, okay, understand, answer this question: who squandered the money? Who squandered the blessings? Who lived recklessly or immorally? Who made the choice to gather up and leave? And you're saying, well, did you not read it? It was the son. I want you to understand, sin is a personal proposition. It is a personal choice. If I leave God, it's my choice. If I live sinfully, I can't blame someone else. I can't blame someone for influencing me, even though they might have. I can't blame my home life or my childhood or my job situation. It's my responsibility. And now, number three, sin drains me of all that is good. I want you to notice what happened here. Let's go back. He gathered, he squandered, but look what happened next. And when he had spent everything, reminds me of a song that Styx produced in the 80s or late 70s, that one of the lines in the lyrics said, I have all the friends I need as long as I'm buying. He spent everything, and then he was in need. Why? Well, all his friends were gone. All of those who were around him were gone, and he surrounded himself with whom he had surrounded himself, and he hired himself as one of the citizens of that country and went out to feed the pigs. But notice that he didn't even get to do that. No one gave him gave him anything. He was all alone. He was empty. He was hopeless. He was helpless because of the choices he had made. Sin leads me to horrible things, drains me of all that is good. I want us to come back to that in our next time together, but our time is gone today. Thank you so very much for listening.